This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Thanks for joining us here at 11 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. We are still watching the radar tonight. Storms continue to produce heavy rain and a lot of lightning. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory.
And quite a lightning show, Nicole, to the southwest. Our chance for severe weather overnight will remain low. The best chance of thunderstorms to the south and west. If you had some rain this evening, that's most of us. Patchy fog will be around first thing in the morning. There are showers in the metro area, some rain from Bloomington to Nashville, but here are the thunderstorms and a shrinking area of thunderstorms. From Terre Haute to Sullivan, heavy rainfall, lots of lightning and some flooding. Flash flood warning in effect for the southern half of Sullivan County, where they've had over 4 inches of rain. It continues to rain. This is what we have for tomorrow. Temperatures back in the upper 80s, a touch less humidity, and the rain chance goes down. We still need to talk about the week ahead. We'll do that shortly.
Kevin, thank you. Tonight, a group says it is fighting for choices for individual health, not mandates like requiring a mask during the pandemic. Dozens of people gathered downtown hoping to get the attention of Governor Holcomb. They are concerned over what they call government overreach in Indiana. At the State House Sunday, a rally brought out dozens of people during the pandemic.
I'm here with all of these good people to stand in unity against governing forces trying to take away our rights to make choices for our own well-being.
My concern is that mandating behavior is what I disagree with.
They say they are standing together and defying recommendations to wear face masks, which is required by Mayor Joe Hogsett in Marion County.
We stand for freedom, our right under God to take care of our own bodies, and we can do that very well if we're allowed that liberty to do our very best.
Those we talk to say they do care about other people and their well-being, but they believe each person is responsible to take care of themselves.
I don't need to wear a mask for them to be safe. I'm responsible for my own health. They're responsible for their health.
The event today was hosted by the group Stop Government Outreach in Indiana. They worry requiring masks out in public will soon become a statewide issue, and they say they will not comply. They are also upset that Governor Holcomb has extended stage 4.5, but Governor Holcomb says Indiana is seeing an uptick in the percentage of Hoosiers who are testing positive for COVID-19, and the state is basing the Back on Track Indiana plan on data. We are expected to stay in stage 4.5 for at least the next 2 weeks. The director of the CDC says cloth face coverings are one of the most powerful weapons we have to slow and stop the spread of the virus when used universally within a community setting. The director says all Americans have a responsibility to protect themselves, their families, and their communities. And more corporations are mandating masks. A long list of businesses will start requiring masks tomorrow, including Cunningham and Who's Culinary, two well-known Indianapolis-based restaurant groups. The restaurants they own include Brew Burger, Livery, St. Elmo, and Harry and Izzy's. Mask policies at Walmart, CVS, and Kroger also take effect this week, just to name a few. We asked people in downtown Indianapolis how they feel about the mandates.
I think it's a necessary need due to the COVID situation and the spread of the virus. And if it helps us have longevity or at least better health, then I think I'm for it.
I think that we're big boys and girls, that we should be able to make our own decisions. If we feel that we're at high risk, then then we act appropriately.
I mean, I don't like it, but I guess it's for safety and everything, so I'll wear it.
Many businesses and communities that are requiring masks are also providing them for free to people in need. The state health department reports 2 more COVID-19 deaths and 927 new cases. 2,629 Hoosiers have now died from the coronavirus. More than 56,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. More than 626,000 people have been tested in Indiana, with 9% testing positive. Deaths from COVID-19 topping 140,000 nationwide. Los Angeles' mayor says the city is on the brink of another stay-at-home order, and hospitals across the country pushed to their limits. And there's a debate in Washington about more funding to fight COVID-19. ABC's Megan Tavrizian has the latest.
Today, coronavirus cases continuing to rise at a staggering rate. Numbers increasing in more than 24 states, overwhelming medical systems, like this hospital in Hidalgo, Texas. Some patients waiting 10 hours for an examination because resources are so thin.
It's very difficult when you are putting your mom's best friend in a body bag. It's very difficult when you're putting your 6th grade school teacher on a mechanical support.
In California, Los Angeles' Mayor Eric Garcetti saying on CNN this morning he's close to declaring a second stay-at-home order as cases there continue to rise.
How much worse does it have to get in Los Angeles before you feel compelled to issue another stay-at-home order?
Sure. Well, I think we're on the brink of that.
The need for more testing reportedly met with resistance from the White House. The Washington Post first reporting the Trump administration is at odds with Senate Republicans, saying the administration is pushing to block billions of dollars from testing and contact tracing, as well as funds for the CDC and NIH in a forthcoming GOP coronavirus relief package. But late this afternoon, a senior White House official claiming the president is fully committed to a robust aid package that addresses real needs, adding there have been no negotiations to date. Trump asked about testing this morning on Fox News.
Sir, testing is up 37%.
Well, that's good.
I understand. Cases are up 194%. It isn't just that testing has gone up, it's that the virus has spread.
Many of those cases are young people that would heal in a day. They have the sniffles, and we put it down as a test.
But health experts continue to stress the virus can impact people of all ages. The nation's leading COVID-19 expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, urging young people to take this virus more seriously.
The younger individuals are saying, well, if I get infected, so the chances is that I won't even have any symptoms, so who cares? You are propagating a pandemic because it doesn't end with you.
Megan Tavrizian, ABC News, San Diego.
Megan, thank you. An Indianapolis organization is getting innovative when it comes to helping Hoosiers keep a roof over their head. Troy Washington is working for you to show us how a new program, possibly unlike any other in the nation, is putting families on the path towards success and hasn't slowed down despite the pandemic.
For Leola Jimenez, money was getting tight and her family was tired of calling a hotel room home.
The money ran out and it's like, I don't know what's going to happen now because we had nowhere else to go. I was worried about my son.
Through Family Promise of Indianapolis, she doesn't have to worry about any of those things as she puts herself in position to stand on her own 2 feet through the apartment shelter project.
Normally, we have 30 churches, congregations, and temples that work with us to provide transportation, food, as well as shelter for families. When COVID happened, all that had to come to a stop because we wanted to keep our volunteers safe, as more importantly, our families safe as well.
The Interfaith Hospitality Network used to host families at churches and temples, but because of COVID-19, all of that has changed. Here's the upside, though. Now they're able to help more families. Families like this one are given up to 90 days to focus all of their attention and savings on getting into their own place. Family Promise guides them every step of the way to set them up for success once they leave the program.
We're actually operating at a rate of 89%. That's the highest we've ever been in terms of successful people being housed. We worked with a few different partnerships, one of them being Mustard Seeds. They're our furniture bank where they assisted with furnishing almost all our units, almost to the T, where everything that Mustard Seeds didn't get, we have 1,500 volunteers in those 30 congregations and churches and temples we work with that work to put all the household items in here. So families came into the units with dishes, silverware, all cleaning supplies.
I don't even know the last time I was able to cook in the kitchen because it's been like that long. It makes us feel like we're family.
Now that these families have their peace of mind back, stepping out on their own is next. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Troy, thank you. And with some landlords, families can opt to take over the lease, meaning they don't have to move again. For other landlords, they can't stay there past 30 to 90 days, but they get priority in renting their own unit in the development. The Marion County Fair almost went off without a hitch. Coming up, why crews packed up earlier than expected after a violent night involving young people and guns. After several weeks of protests, a new turf war is brewing in one American city. This time it's local government versus the feds. That story straight ahead.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Something has to be different. I mean, anytime my son asks to go somewhere, I'm nervous about it. And it shouldn't be like that. Anywhere where there's going to be a large group of young Black boys, I'm nervous for really all of them.
Tonight, we are hearing from a woman who was at the Marion County Fairgrounds last night with her teenage son when fighting started that eventually led to a shooting and teenagers in the hospital. Today was supposed to be the last day for the fair, but the board of directors decided to cancel it. Today, crews spent the morning cleaning up and rides were taken down. This comes following what investigators say was a large fight last night. Police say deputies with the Marion County Sheriff's Office were escorting juveniles from the fairgrounds after a fight when 100 to 150 juveniles and adults rushed the fair gates, forcing their way inside. After that, multiple fights started and at least one juvenile was shot. The mother we talked to says she came to the fair with her son for his safety, and ending the night this way was upsetting.
I feel bad about it because honestly, like, I'm an African-American woman. I've got African-American children, teenage boys, and it's kind of sad that when I see large groups of younger, I mean, I'd say from my son is 13, from 13 to, 17, these large groups of African-American boys, I'm nervous about it. That's sad. Luckily for me, I made it out safely and everything like that, but I'm trying to explain to him what it means to be an innocent bystander. It's not always like your situation that you could be affected by. And there were people there with their children and babies and infants and strollers, and it's just sad.
Amisha Craig says she noticed large groups of teenage boys at the fairgrounds last night with very little supervision. Police also said they made multiple arrests prior to the fight, and many of the teens were not with an adult. Meanwhile, the teen that was shot last night is expected to recover. A second teen who was injured was taken to the hospital, but police say she was not shot. Police say several people were taken into custody for questioning, and multiple guns were recovered from the scene. Tonight, an investigation is underway after a domestic violence call leads to an officer-involved shooting on the northeast side that left one man dead. Police were called to North Parker Avenue just before midnight. When officers arrived, they say a man came outside and started shooting at officers. Police say one officer returned fire and the man went back inside. IMPD says at least 3 homes were damaged from the suspect's gunfire, including a home where police say bullets missed a 21-month-old baby who was asleep. After negotiating with the crisis team, police say the man stopped communicating, and hours later the SWAT team made entry due to medical concerns, and the suspect again fired at officers and the SWAT team members fired back. He was taken to the hospital but died from his injuries. An internal affairs investigation is now underway. And it was a busy night for Metro police officers. Around 11:30 Saturday night, they were called to Browse Avenue near 34th Street and Keystone Avenue on reports of a person shot. Officers found an adult male suffering from a gunshot wound who died there at that scene. No further information has been released tonight. IMPD investigators are asking anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers. The backlash continues after the Trump administration sent federal authorities to Portland, Oregon to handle growing protests. State and local officials say the presence of these federal agencies are making the situation worse. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert with the details.
After more than 7 weeks of generally peaceful but contentious protests in Portland, Oregon, federal officials have moved in. Units from the Department of Homeland Security and other federal agencies now facing backlash over their militarized approach.
It's like pouring gasoline on a fire.
An internal DHS memo obtained by the New York Times says many on the ground are not even properly trained. The Times reporting one tactical team dispatched to Portland is normally tasked with investigating drug smuggling, not local protests. However, a Department of Homeland Security spokesperson telling ABC News that report in the Times is incorrect, and officers did receive additional training for their deployment to Portland. The state's attorney general suing a list of agencies for overstepping their powers, claiming they're seizing citizens without probable cause in a violation of their civil rights.
4 or 5 men came out, jump out, and just start rushing at all of us. It was absolutely terrifying.
President Trump defending his administration's actions this morning, tweeting, "We are trying to help Portland, not hurt it," telling Fox News,
"If we didn't take that stand, right now you would have a problem like they were going to lose Portland."
Portland's mayor says the federal presence is escalating the situation.
Their presence here is actually leading to more violence and more vandalism, and it's not helping the situation at all. They're not wanted here. We haven't asked them here. In fact, we want them to leave.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Oregon Representative Earl Blumenauer releasing a joint statement against the tactics being used by federal officers in Portland, writing in part, "The House is committed to moving swiftly to curb these egregious abuses of power immediately." Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley says when he gets back to Washington, D.C. next week, he's going to introduce an amendment to the defense bill in an effort to limit the Trump administration's power to send federal agents to places like Portland. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
Well, it was beautiful after the storm, the calm after the storm in a few spots in central Indiana this evening. Hendricks County, almost a purple sky there. Of course, some spots have not gotten beyond the storms yet. We'll take you to where it's still active here in a second. Temperatures low 70s. Most locations we should dip into the upper 60s overnight tonight. Last night we stayed in the middle to upper 70s for overnight low temperature, so we never did cool off. As far as the radar now, the rain, portions of Johnson County down to northern portions of Brown County, north of Nashville to Bloomington. The thunderstorms, if you're seeing lightning, this is how far away the thunderstorms are from Terre Haute to Sullivan. We'll zoom in, take the lightning off of there, and you can see it's the western portion of Vigo and Sullivan counties now with the ongoing heavy rain, which should continue to shrink. One of the things we can do is use our radar to estimate rainfall. Almost 5 inches of rain in isolated spots in the southern half of Sullivan County. That's why the flash flood warning in effect there. You go west of the state line, west of Vermilion County in Indiana, 5 inches there. And southern portions of Clay into southern portions of Morgan, 4 inches of rainfall. The humidity is still high, and so when it rains, it pours. What do we change tomorrow? We'll lower the humidity a little bit. Rain chances will be lower as well, and the temperatures in the upper 80s. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all 3 days. Thunderstorms become more likely, periods of thunderstorms. Temperatures pretty consistent, as you can see, in the upper 80s. Tomorrow, 83 by noon. The north wind starts to lower the humidity a little bit. In the metro area, I'd say a 20% chance we'll have a thunderstorm. If you go south of Bloomington, Terre Haute, Columbus, maybe 30% chance for some thunderstorms. You'll see those pop up late in the day during the heat of the day, then fade away tomorrow night. Temperatures Monday, mid 80s to the upper 80s. Here's your 7-day planner. Again, get used to that daily chance for thunderstorms. If you still haven't converted on much needed rainfall, you've got many opportunities here, as you can see, through the next several days. Friday, 86 degrees, 40% chance of thunderstorms. We do make it back into the low 90s by next Sunday. It's 11:21. We'll be back with more news right after this.
Baseball is back at Victory Field. As you know, the Indian season is canceled due to the pandemic, but earlier this month, the team announced a partnership with the College Summer League at Grand Park to play 3 games at Victory Field. The first game took place last Thursday. 2 more games are set for July 23rd and the 30th. As Brad Brown reports, this baseball boost is just what the young players need to get back in the game.
The boys of summer are getting a second chance to salvage something of a season.
It gets a little chippy sometimes between teams and everything, but definitely it's a fun atmosphere for sure. I know that from my friends that also play in the league. It's definitely like something that we have that still competitive edge and everything, but all around it's a fun time.
Westfield's Grand Park is hosting the College Summer League, a dozen teams filled with around 400 players, largely from Central Indiana and the Midwest.
Getting that, the information that they weren't going to be playing ball and then getting this response back, they were definitely excited to have a place to play. A lot of the guys enjoyed the way we've gone about it. Instead of playing 70 games, we're getting everyone 30 games.
From Division I talent down through to the junior college ranks, all of these players share the common thread of having their original spring plans to play canceled by COVID-19.
It means a lot to me because I was originally going to go down to the Prospect League down south in Terre Haute, Indiana, and just the ability to actually come out here and actually play at Grand Park. I mean, I live 20 minutes right down the road, so it's nice to be on like great facilities and all that other stuff.
A handful of these guys will be getting strong looks from Major League scouts. For many of them, though, it's simply a chance to be on the field, when that prospect seemed grim just a few months ago.
We focus all of our program on training, so we're not over-pitching anyone, we're not overplaying anyone. We have trainers on staff that assist them at our indoor facility.
We've gravitated towards some college baseball, and now without not having any Indians games, and to be able to bring some of these college kids out, give them a unique experience, all-star game, regular season game, and then a championship game, we feel really good about it.
The now common threads of playing during a pandemic are easy to spot around Grand Park.
We have to continuously remind people, hey, follow these guidelines, listen to us. We're trying to keep everybody safe here.
But once they step between the lines, it's just baseball.
Once we get on the field, before the game during BP, we'll joke around a little bit. Once we get on the field, it's like down to business. It's like, hey, we want to be the best team.
In Westfield, Brad Brown, RTV6 Sports.
House calls are getting a new life as health officials worry many people are putting off routine visits to the doctor. Chris Conti explores how this old idea might be a new way to manage the pandemic's pressures and help those who are isolated at home.
We have been forced by the virus to reimagine nearly everything, not the least of which is the way the American healthcare system functions.
It's pretty profound.
That is Stacy Chang. He's with the Design Institute for Health in Texas, and he says at this critical juncture an old practice could be getting new life, the house call.
People don't want to go to clinics, right? People don't even want to go to grocery stores.
With so many of us avoiding the doctor right now, Chang says a reinvention of the house call could be a viable solution. And new portable technology means doctors could do everything from an ultrasound to checking your oxygen levels.
The notion of a house call means that the care provider, whether a physician or a nurse, can come in and get a more comprehensive view of you as a person.
Aside from keeping people away from hospitals where COVID-19 might be lurking, the house call gives physicians a chance to get to know their patients. Spending more than 10 minutes with someone in an office would give doctors a better chance to treat chronic diseases.
It's really a relationship between the person who's caring for you and the person who's being cared for.
The cost of a house call typically will cost you around $130, but most Medicare plans cover some kind of house visit. And physicians are worried that Americans in isolation are avoiding routine checkups. This idea could help manage some of that pressure while keeping people healthy.
The care that didn't happen, the routine care for managing chronic diseases and the people who would have gone in for interventions, we may end up having greater mortality from those missed interventions than COVID itself actually caused.
As we navigate life during a pandemic, the house call might be just what the doctor ordered. I'm Chris Conti reporting.
And it's still pretty loud in the western portion of the state. Now thunderstorms Terre Haute down to Sullivan and west of Vincennes. There's rain in the metro area down into Johnson and Morgan counties. The threat overnight, not so much for severe storms. I think the risk is low. It would be flooding from Terre Haute to Sullivan to Vincennes. That's the most likely area for the rain to continue. Tomorrow, Monday, rain chances in the afternoon down, but back up on Tuesday.
All right, Kevin, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. Good Morning Indiana starts at 4:30. Have a great night.